Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, where every week on Friday we show all the comics and all the cool covers that are open order for this week. So, Andy, this week I think it's pretty medium.
It's pretty medium, but there's some pretty notable things. Not even like number ones, but like especially one Spider-Man book coming up that I'm very interested to tell everybody
There's been
about.
some telling tweets about this book, so stay tuned and you will see all that. So I want to direct you also to our website, infinityflux.net, where you can go and follow along with us. Just go to the last call. You can click on any comic, and if you want to, you can subscribe to the series. You can pre-order covers. All of this at infinityflux.net. All right, so now on with the show. So let's begin with our featured comics. These are the ones that we think people will possibly care the most about. Beginning with,
Planet of the Apes, which the cover is not showing up on the screen.
whoops.
There we
go.
So, starting off with Planet of the Apes #1. This has been kind of in the Marvel's kind of churning out very slowly. We had a whole month of Planet of the Apes variant covers.
They definitely led us up to that.
Yes, but finally it's time for the #1. This is an ongoing series. This is by David F. Walker. You may know him from Bitter Root. And the art is done by Dave Watcher. And so from what I can tell about this, it's going to be set kind of post like a lot of where the new movies have taken place. As you can see on the cover, the apes have kind of already evolved to that form of like, communication and battle ready.
Yeah.
But it's not as far in the future as like the original Planet of the Apes movie.
Not to mention, I don't see any like non-apes on this cover.
Right. So we are going to be following a researcher who is looking for a cure to kind of the big disease that's been hitting the world. And she's looking for a cure, but some other people think, well, to get rid of this, we just got to kill all the apes. So our researcher named Juliana Tobin is kind of stepping in front of it, trying to keep the peace, but will it be too late as the apes have now kind of gotten their stuff together and now they're well equipped to take on the humans, leading into what we know eventually happens with all the Planet of the Apes stories. But I think this is going to be really cool. I know a lot of people are really excited about this. The art, Dave Watcher, if you're not familiar, he did one of the Star Wars High Republic miniseries, Trail of Shadows. So that was really good, really popular. The art was great. I think this is going to be a pretty big return of Planet of the Apes to Marvel.
And to just add in my factoid that I'm sure so many of our viewers already know, Planet of the Apes was originally written by Rod Serling. I'm a huge fan of from the Twilight Zone, so it's always had its roots in sort of thoughtful, philosophical sci-fi, which I really appreciate.
So, of course, it's a new Marvel #1 and a new returning property, so you know we've got some variant covers for this. Starting with, we've got the LUBERA variant.
They're jumping off that statue right at you.
You know, I didn't know they had learned to fly at this point, but I sure hope that's a long way down even for an ape. We have the MCKONE variant, another very thoughtful cover.
Yep.
We have the PAQUETTE. And we have a new artist entering the ring for the blinds window shade variants. This is Todd Knopf. I wonder if he has finished up with his headshot variants and he's moving on to doing the window blinds variants.
I probably, that's what I would say. Okay, so next up, also from, actually, not at all from Marvel, it is Harley Quinn issue number 28. So we featured this one because it's a new creative team on Harley Quinn. So the past team was Stephanie Phillips and Matteo Lolli, who I think did an incredible run of Harley. But they have left the book because they were done with their tales, which I think is the way it should be. And there's a new team of Teenie Howard and Sweeney Boo doing the interiors. So if you fell off a Harley, just want to let you know, or if you've still been with it, I don't want anyone to be like, hey, this has a whole different feel to it.
Yep.
So here's our main cover. And then here is the Ryan Sook variant.
This one's really funny.
I think it might relate to one of the stories inside, because what I was reading about this issue is, for one thing, Harley has to do community service. So that's not the one I think links with this cover, but it's Harley. She gets in trouble. She's trying to be a good guy in Gotham now as much as she can be. She has to do community service, but also they say there's supposed to be sort of like a dream tale where she dreams of being Gotham's magical savior. I get a very sort of like Nemo, Peter Pan feel out of this.
Yeah, it's a little Little Nemo in Slumberland.
Yes.
This is Little Harley in Nightmare Land.
Yes. So this is the Sook variant. Here is the FRISON variant.
I mean, I love this because she's like, why does she have that fish?
I wonder if it's a Joker fish reference. I mean, I don't see the smile.
It's
so
just a big fish.
I assume this will be answered in the actual issue. And then lastly, here is the KWAN International Women's Day variant.
A very interesting cover.
Yep.
Okay, here's the one that I teased earlier on. This is Spider-Man number 7. So, yes, this is not a number 1. It's the actual ending of the story arc, End of the Spider-Verse. Now, what makes this so big? Of course, there's this cover that says spoiler on it. Ends of the Spider-Verse has been leading up to the Spider-Verse ending, and the writer, Dan Slott, who is known here and there for really hyping up some books,
right,
but also he delivers. That's where we got Superior Spider-Man and the death of Peter Parker.
And the whole Spider-Verse.
The whole Spider-Verse, he created it. So, if I trust anyone with really hyping this up, like, he's got a good track record for it. Now, there's the description of this. It's up to Silk and the rest of the Spider-Verse team to try and save the Spider-Verse, which doesn't sound like it's going to happen. Interesting, it's very much focusing on Silk since Peter Parker got kind of disintegrated in a previous issue. But the things that he's saying about this is he's had a email thread with the editors, the artist, and himself, really, and like all the Marvel bigwigs really trying to hammer down this story. So he's talking about involving some really higher ups. So it's going to involve some major shifts in characters or stories. He also said so often people. Readers are like, oh, I wish you would have told me that this would be a big issue. And he's like, now I'm finally telling you, go pick this up. And he also says, for people who say, well, I haven't been reading the End of the Spider-Verse story, he said, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to pick up this book. So, I mean, he's almost every day been leading up to this. I'm gonna believe him on this and definitely pick up this spoiler cover, which is going to be by Humberto Ramos, which another classic Spider-Man artist that worked with him for a long time.
And of course, this cover is not released yet,
Yes.
because it's supposed to have a spoiler on it. And this is the one that Slott's been saying, get this cover.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to have a first of a new character. I mean, otherwise, what else would it be? A death of a new character?
Yeah, I don't know what you would show on it that would be that shocking. It's hard to portray a story beat.
So we've been making some guesses, and our two guesses are either there's going to be a new Spider character, altogether new from the Spider-Verse, or an amalgamation of them, like they're all pulped into one character that enters the regular Marvel Universe on a permanent level and is going to get their own series. Or Andy suggested that maybe he's going to write an Ultimate Universe character.
Yeah, we know there's some rumblings. We already know there's going to be an new Ultimate comics coming up. I think who would be better to write an Ultimate Spider-Man comic than Dan Slott now that has had such a history with them. I just think
those are our guesses.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Let us know in the comments what your guess is. But if we see it's time stamped after this cover is revealed, your guess doesn't count.
That's true.
No cheating.
Not fair.
But this isn't the only cover or sample cover. This is our A cover for number 7. We have, of course, an Alex Ross Timeless variant. And we have this really cool Gomez with that Spider-Man and his giant mech from the Japanese TV show.
Okay, so next up is our first indie comic. It's going to be a new miniseries called Ambassadors, 6-issue miniseries from Image Comics from Mark Millar. So the first issue says on it Frank Quitely, but actually each issue is going to have a different cover and interior artist. He's working with 6 different artists. That is sort of part of his plan for this. So as far as what it is about, there is a Korean billionaire who cracks the superhero genetic code. Now, one thing I don't know is, does this world he's writing already have superheroes, or will they be the first? I couldn't find that out. I read a lot on this. But this billionaire is able to turn 6 people into super powered people. How does he choose it? And that's what the book is about. The ambassadors are basically different people from different countries who are represented, who get tested by this billionaire as far as why should they be one of the 6 who get superpowers. I think it's a pretty interesting premise. So I looked into it. As far as the artists, we got Frank Quitely's doing the issue number 1. Let's see. Issue number 2 is Carl Kerschel. Issue number 3 is going to be Travis Charest. Issue 4 is Oliver Coipel. And issue 5 is going to be Matteo Buffanagdi. Issue 6 was not announced yet. That's as far out as it went. But I took it as far as I could just to let you guys know who watch the show. These are all different artists that are going to be on it in case you want to sign up for it. So here's our regular cover by Quitely. Here's a black and white version. Here is the CAVENAGO variant. Here is the LARRAZ variant. And lastly, there's going to be a blank sketch variant. And a lot of you probably know this, but Millar has a deal with Netflix. They get like a first look for all of his stuff. And so in a way, all his stuff is optioned.
Yeah.
But, you know, as many miniseries he's put out, obviously it's not going to be all of them. But what was it? I think Netflix is working on Magic Order.
Yeah.
So provided they don't change their minds. But that's, I know, one semi-spec reason people pick up, at least his number 1s.
I wonder if, since there's different artists on each one, if it's going to spotlight one of the different heroes and how they got chosen. And
from what I read, yes.
Okay.
That's how it sounded.
I like when they do that. Okay, a new DC book for this new age of DC that's coming out. This is Unstoppable Doom Patrol. It's a mini series. It's going to be 6 issues, written by Dennis Culver, and art is by Chris Burnham. Sounds really cool. So this actually does play out post Lazarus Planet, where we saw in a few of the issues that the Lazarus reign had given some new people powers. But what are they going to do about that? Like, all these people have new powers and they're not like part of a Justice League or anything. They haven't had this time. So the Doom Patrol is actually going to be in charge of like going out and either helping these people or stopping them, depending on how they're using their powers. Just kind of, it's the Doom Patrol's job to manage all of these new heroes. So we've got characters like Robot Man, Classic, Elasti-Woman, Negative Man, but they're joined by 2 new characters, Beast Girl and Degenerate, which, sorry he got that name, but I have to see what it all means.
I hope he didn't name himself.
Yeah.
It's not good either way, but
I think this sounds really cool. And what Jason was telling me earlier is Dennis Culver has really been promoting this book.
Yeah, he's been sending emails to all of us comic stores. He has sent a preview of the first issue. He's not necessarily saying, hey, this is going to be worth a ton of money in 10 years, but he really cares about the book and he put a lot into it. I haven't seen that much effort from a writer too often, really.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be great. Very interested in this. And of course, we've got a bunch of covers. So we have the Zerdy variant.
There's the Zerdy cover.
Yep. We have the Chris Burnham design variant as well. So you can kind of see. Now, this Doom Patrol they were featured in one of the Lazarus Planet one-shots that was kind of leading into this. So I'm not sure if the 2 new characters, I don't think they were featured in that though. So I think this is.
And I want to mention, so we did talk about this several shows back because we had the scratch off variant that they made everyone order early because that's going to take a lot longer for them to produce that variant. So if you're scratching your head being like, didn't we already hear about this new Doom Patrol? It was just that scratch off variant, and those orders are already in, they're locked. If you already put those orders in with your shop, don't worry, you're still getting those. Here are just the other covers that we had more time to get orders for. Okay, so next up is The Nasty, which is funny. On when I was reading the preview for it, it was just called Nasty. I like it better as The Nasty, I think. This is a new series from Vault from writer John Lees with art by George Kumbadias. And this is about an 18-year-old boy who is a big fan of horror movies, and he has an imaginary friend. His imaginary friend is his favorite slasher killer from the movies. So what happens is this video store he goes to, they have a new video nasty that comes out, and that's like a video that's so messed up and depraved that they want to ban it. And because of this video and him and his friends watching it, his love of horror sort of starts becoming all too real. So as far as what that means, I'm not sure. I mean, has there ever been a book where somebody has a imaginary friend who doesn't start affecting the real world?
Yeah.
Or it turns out that's the real person, or it's Fight Club somehow. I don't know. But this is definitely supposed to be a series for people who love horror, who love slashers, slasher icons. So if that is you, you might want to check this one out. And here is our variant. This is the Cantorino variant for the Nasty #1. All right, so next up, it is other #1s. We can't feature them all, so here are the rest.
Starting with Marvel Voices Spider-Verse. So before the Spider-Verse ends, we got to get one more $9.99 deluxe issue in there. So, I mean, it doesn't take too much explanation. This is an anthology book like all the Marvel Voices, with different writers and artists bringing their own perspectives to the Spider characters in it. It does sound like we may be getting some new Spider-Verse characters along with some old favorites like you can see on the cover. But like I said, this will be $9.99 oversized issue, and I'll be really interested to see how this corresponds with Spider-Man #7, if there's any correlation to those two coming out. But yep, we've got a couple covers for this. This is our A cover. We have our Jeong variant, which is
so colorful.
It's really cool.
I mean, I feel like they colored it and they're like, is this too much? And they're like, nah, add some glitter too.
Then we have our In-Hyuk Lee. And we have our Jimenez.
That's beautiful.
I really, yeah, that
my shirt. If only there was an image in all these webs. Okay.
That's from the side of it. Right here is the Spider-Man head, and then she's jumping out of it.
Leaping out of it. Okay, so next up is a new series called Indigo Children. So this is from Image Comics, and the premise of it follows an investigative journalist who is trying to figure out where this group of extraordinary children that they name the Indigo Children where they vanished to. It's been 15 years since this group of extraordinary children vanished, and he's trying to figure out whatever happened to them. That's pretty much all the premise lets us in on. It is written by Kurt Pyers with Rockwell White. The art is done by Alex Diotto. And what I like about it, though, is it's going to be an extra size first issue, and they didn't raise the price.
Yeah,
so that's just really smart. That feels like the team really believes in their work to say, hey, we're probably not going to make any money on this one. We want to get the full story out there, not just like the little 20-some pages you normally get. But we won't charge anything else. So,
and along with that, there's no variant cover.
Okay.
So I mean, they are funneling you into like getting this book right here.
Yep.
Okay, next up is one I'm very excited about. This is always a fun time when the Ninja Turtles cross over with Usagi Yojimbo. This is TMNT Usagi Yojimbo Where When #1. So this is about the Turtles are pursuing the evil Dr. Where-When. Very classic comic booky name for a character that pulls them into a time portal, and they arrive 20 years into Usagi's future. So it feels like this is going to be kind of a little bit later on in his story, where it seems like the Dr. Where-When actually got there earlier, kind of when they fell out at different time points, and he has already been building up his attempt to conquer the past and the present by using new like Clockwork Samurai robots. You'll see one on the back of this cover because it's a wraparound. But I mean, you'll know if you want this. These are classic, great stories every time they team up. So this is the front of the A cover. Then we have the back of the A cover. I like the really big samurai
Yeah.
clockwork robot.
It's like Sakai's Iron Giant.
It is. And look, you've got some of the newer Usagi characters in there.
You're right.
That was pretty big when the characters came out. We also have the Kevin Eastman variant.
That looks great.
Yeah, very cool. And we have a blank sketch cover as well.
Okay, so check this new series out. It is codename Ric Flair. That's right. One of the most popular wrestlers of all time is getting his first ongoing, I think it's ongoing comic series. It was hard to find that out, but it's definitely his first like full sort of series. And I like the premise of this. Basically, the premise is Ric Flair has at points claimed to be a secret agent, and he just uses his wrestling, the fact that takes him all around the world to just sort of be a cover. And so this is following him through the 80s and 90s. We're getting to see what he does outside the ring too as a secret agent. So it's a pretty cool premise. And this is from writers James Hack with art by Rafael Larrero. And so this is our main cover. Check out this Duarte variant. I'm sure you know what noise he's making right here. I won't even try. And then here is the Ruben Kubiles variant for codename Ric Flair, the Nature Boy.
Okay, this one's really cool. I'm just a sucker for giant sharks, but this is called Black Demon Tales. This is going to be a 3-issue kind of anthology book. I'm not sure if all of them are going to be about this shark, but I really like kind of the bones of this book. So this is by Hector Rodriguez III, and the artist's last name is Sansone. And it's about a Mexican naval researcher is attacked by a giant shark and dedicates her life to destroying this shark. Now, what makes this really cool is, one, it kind of talks about maybe there's some more ancient and paranormal to this shark than meets the eye, I would imagine by the size of it on the cover. But it's based on real Mexican fisherman lore. So this is kind of the tales that have been those classic sea tales of sea monsters and everything.
Hey, you look like an old salty fisherman. What scares you?
Yeah, this giant shark, and mixed with traditional indigenous beliefs and mythology and everything. So I really like that. And apparently this is a major motion picture, which I have not heard of. I'll have to look it up because I'll watch anything with big sharks in it. But I thought that sounded really cool. I like the idea that it's kind of using some sea lore and all of that. And I believe there's just the one cover for this one as well.
All right, so next up is Don't Spit in the Wind.
Good advice.
This is from Mad Cave Studios, and what this is about, it's set in the future where Earth is no longer habitable. The planet has been trashed in every which way, and humanity has moved on. Like, they've left Earth, it's just, gone to do other things. But they haven't completely abandoned it because there is a group of people who are cleaning it up. And that's the group you're following here. Our main character and his friends, it was their job to clean up the Earth. However, one of them goes missing near sort of a nuclear facility, and that sort of is the main plot point. Where did their friend go? So this is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. It is from writer, artist, and cover artist Stefano Corticelli. So he's doing everything himself. And here is our main cover. And then here is the Zach Howard and Daniel variant for Don't Spit in the Wind, number 1 of 4.
I like the books that have the art style that's just like super intricate. I'm sure when you see a bunch of trash and stuff, it's just going to be loads of things to look at.
Yep.
Okay, next up is a new tale from the Frank Frazetta verse. This is Frank Frazetta Tales of Science Fantasy. So this is going to be a quarterly anthology book. that is going to be based off of classic Frazetta paintings, like a lot of the Frazetta books have been so far. So this is actually written by a friend of mine, Denton J. Tipton, who actually really helped me get my foot in the door working on Star Wars books and everything. So I owe him a lot. And but the art is done by Miguel Ruiz. And it sounds really cool. This first one is based off of the Frazetta piece called Alien Crucifixion. And so you can see that on the variant cover, but this is our A cover. And then there is the classic painting that the story is kind of building a story around.
Yep, when you're gonna crucify aliens, you better have some extra wood lying around for all those arms, tentacles, whatever they got. Okay, so our next segment is full covers and other comics. This is going to be variant covers we think are particularly good. And if you're number 2s and 3s of new series, just a reminder, you might want to sign up for the issue number 1s. Beginning with Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones issue number 2. Here is the Nakayama main cover to this. This issue is going to be with Sand-Gwen, who we saw at the end of last issue. She was also kind of on one of the covers.
I'm guessing as we go on the series 2, we're starting to build up that Sinister Six gallery.
That's what it seems like. And so here is the Greg Land variant with Sand-Gwen on it. And here is the Peach Momoko variant for that cover, for that issue, which looks like it has the Vulture Gwen, who will probably be in the next issue.
Gwulcher, or whatever she's going to be called.
Vulture.
Okay, next up we have Amazing Spider-Man number 23. I know you can't tell from this cover because this is the Alex Ross Timeless variant with Mysterio. I love that you can see just hints of his face in the globe. But this issue is also going to be big because it's part of this storyline that's going to be revealing what did Peter do? How did this current story arc where it seems like everyone hates him, Mary Jane has left him, all of that. This should be explaining all of that in this storyline. So, like I said, this is our Alex Ross Timeless variant. Then we have our Bachalo variant, which, if he's on the top of that building, what's that spider hanging from? Like a passing by plane or something?
Helicopter. It's Last Action Hero spider.
And then we also have the Disney 100 Infinity Gauntlet homage, which I love this. I love always looking to me like, who's playing what part?
I just started doing that immediately.
Like Pluto Silver Surfer, which is just, that's a funny idea.
That's going to be a very hot cover. That's really awesome. Okay, so next up, here is the second issue of Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is the main cover. And in this issue, it's going to continue asking the question of how are there now two different Cosmic Ghost Riders? Frank Castle is still around, and he still has the powers. Who is this other new one who's been going around killing people? Here is the Coquello Stormbreakers variant with, it looks like Groot on there. I wonder if
I think they're doing kind of a series of Groot-themed covers because he has a new series coming out.
Okay. All right. I mean, he's sort of ageless enough, he can still be in this time, but and then here is the Yoon variant for Cosmic Ghost Rider number 2 as well.
First issue was really good. I read that, Okay, next up, speaking of Ghost Riders, but less cosmic, this is Ghost Rider number 13. I was about to say, he kind of looks a little cosmic on there. This is what people are saying may be the Weapon X Danny Ketch. They haven't mentioned any Weapon X things, but you can tell there's a big similarity to his helmet, same looking as what Wolverine had when he was Weapon X.
For sure. But
this is going to be getting into what's going on with Danny Ketch. He seems to be going on a rampage, which is kind of I'm guessing there's some control going on that he's not in control of himself or something, but Johnny Blaze is going to have to stop him. I think these are some awesome covers too. I really like this new design. So this is the Rod Rice variant. Looks like he's got a big old flame lightsaber sword. And we have this one, which I think is interesting. This is called the Walsh Unlucky 13 variant. So I wonder whenever issues hit 13, they're going to be doing these like Unlucky 13 variants.
For those of you looking for your Ghost Rider bondage cover, here it is.
Yes.
All right, so next up, it is Rogue and Gambit number 2. And in this issue, I read the solicitation. It says that it might be the X-Men up against the Avengers. for the fate of Krakoa. I mean, that's been a long time coming. I
Yeah.
doubt it's going to get resolved in the Rogue versus Gambit, Rogue and Gambit series, though. So here's the main cover. Here is the Momoko cover. And here is the Vatine cover. So issue number 1 was really good, but they're promising a lot going on from here.
Yeah, if they resolve the entire Krakoa thing in this mini-series, that would be, I think some people would be upset. Okay, next up, we have Scarlet Witch number 4. Love this Magneto. That is just
I thought she's been bulking up.
No, not this time, but love this Alex Ross Timeless Magneto variant. Looking very tough, very cool. We also have, this is the Ji-Hung Lee variant, and in this one, Darcy, who has been brought into the comics universe, Darcy's past has come back, and whatever happens with that destroys Wanda's shop that she's been running. So we'll have to see what happens with there, but some great covers for this one.
This is the main cover to Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 11. It says in the corner there, Cold War Prelude. So Cold War is going to be a crossover series between the 2 Captain America books.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to sort of begin, in a way, at least be a prelude into it, starting with this one. Here is the Mana variant. And here is the Alex Ross MODOK variant.
You can hang your own little feet and little arms out of it and have a little fun comic figure. Next up, we have Star Wars Hidden Empire number 5 of 5. This is the big final issue, Kira's final stand against Vader and Palpatine and the Sith. And possibly that Fermata cage will be open with some ancient Sith that's been locked away for a long time. I'm very interested to see what happens in this final part of Charles Soule's big trilogy he's been telling. So this is our A cover. We have our Cummings Connecting variant. And we have our Shalvey Battle variant.
All right, this is the Alex Ross variant for Venom number 18. So another one of his villains, this time, of course, the Lizard. Here is the Medina variant for that issue. And here is the Scotty Young variant. So, he's saying on this, we're back. And a lot of this issue is supposed to be, what is Eddie Brock going to become now that he's gone through all this stuff with Meridius, with being Bedlam? This issue is going to begin a new arc that's going to sort of show, okay, where's Eddie going to land?
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up, but so many good ones. It just makes me smile every time I see one of these Alex Ross covers. This is actually for Wolverine number 32. You'd think it'd be a Spider-Man book, but no, this is for Wolverine number 32. We've also got this really cool Casanovas variant with Wolverine fighting all the clones of himself.
Okay, this is the Ivan Rice variant for Detective Comics issue 1070. Wow, 30 more issues and we're at 1100.
Yep.
It feels like issue 1000 just happened not long ago. So 1070, this is a Rice variant. And in this, the new team, The Vigil, is going to be coming to the pages of Detective Comics. So they were just started in, it was Lazarus Planet, the one shot where it has a few people.
Yeah,
in it.
City
That's where
Boy,
Deadshot is in that one. So yeah, brand new team. The Vigil's going to be in this, but are they friend or foe to the Batman? We will have to see. And then here is the Kelly Jones cardstock variant for that issue.
Next, we have Action Comics number 1053, and they tell you right in the solicit, this is the first appearance of a new villain, Necrohive, which sounds like maybe a colony of a bunch of zombies or something, zombie bees. But this is our B cover. This is the Sandoval variant. We also have the Lee Weeks variant. And we have the Carrillo Shazam variant. And we have the Eleonora Carlin International Women's Day, which I think that's like Ma Kent, and they're getting her own jacket.
Okay, so next up, here is the Ejikir variant for Dark Knights of Steel number 10. Just a really nice variant we didn't want anyone to miss out on. And, the true enemy of the Three Kingdoms has been revealed. What will happen from there?
Then we're still not completely done with Lazarus Planet because we have Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods number 2. This is where it's like the heroes versus the gods who are upset with all the stuff they've been doing. And in this one, Wonder Girl and Shazam team up to face the gods of Olympus. We've also got the Demio variant. No denying that's a Demio variant.
Demio variant for sure. Here is the main cover to Local Man number 2. I really like this first issue, the first issue to this a lot. This is by Tim Seeley with art by Tony Fleeks, who I think is doing some incredible, very different than Stray Dogs art, just showing how much his style can be whatever he wants it to be. And in this issue, our main character has to clear his name when an ex-villain of his shows up murdered. That kind of happened at the end of last issue. And here is the NAUCK and Reber variant for Local Man issue number 2.
You get a little crossover there with the character and Shadowhawk.
Shadowhawk, yep.
Love that.
It's supposed to be Cross Jack was always, sort of part of the Image universe. Or like it.
It's sitting on some long boxes. It's great.
Okay, so
next up is Image's 30th. What do they call it? 30th anniversary
anthology. The last issue.
Yeah, it's the final issue of that, which I had to feature this one because I am a big fan of Science Dog, one of Robert Kirkman's early creations. Science Dog, that's a spinoff from Invincible, is going to be featured in this, written by Robert Kirkman, the art done by Corey Walker. There's also going to be a new Old Guard story in here from Greg Rucka. So I always think these are good for like looking down the list of stories and you're like, oh, I love that book. There's a new story from that. You can pick it up and get a little extra of your favorite book. But for me, I'm getting this because of Science Dog.
And it's the last one, the last celebration of the 30th anniversary of Image, at least in this form. Okay, so next up, this is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 2, issue number 4.
This is
Try
big.
saying that 10 times.
This is big because of those new. I think they're called like
the Mutant Rangers.
Mutant Rangers, yes, very cool. Those are begging to have toys made of them.
You're probably right. And this is the penultimate issue, so issue number 4 of 5. This A cover is by Dan Mora. Here is the Eastman and Williams variant. Here is the Gibson variant.
It's like if they were in the Barney universe.
And Gibson also did this other variant as well. All right, time for the last segment of our show, other printings and graphic novels.
Starting with Superman number 1, second printing. I love that a Superman book has gone to a second printing. It means people are out there supporting Superman, which I'm a big fan of. So if you missed out on that first printing of the first one, you heard a lot of good press on it, go and pick up this Superman number 1, second printing. You will not be sorry. It's a great issue.
Okay, so the last book we're going to go over is a free comic book day book. So if you shop with us, whether it's local or online, you don't have to pre-order this. We will have plenty of these. In fact, we're not taking pre-orders on free comic book day books. We just give them out once they arrive. So this is DC's main free comic book day book, which is called Dawn of DC Night Terrors. And there's going to be a special edition foil version of it for Free Comic Book Day. So the premise of this is that our Trinity here, they have to team up with Deadman and go past the land of the dead into the nightmare realms. Now, why would they do this? It links in with the fact that one of the Justice League's oldest villains turns up dead right at the Hall of Justice. And so somehow that mystery leads them into where I assume they're going to have to go find the dead person.
Yeah.
And so they're going to end up in the Nightmare Lands. So Free Comic Book Day is May 6th this year. Mm-hmm. So get ready. One of the best days for us comic stores. That's when this will be released. But we just wanted to let you know. And certain stores do take pre-orders.
Yeah.
Some stores don't order. We're going to get so much of this. All our customers who want are going to get it. But we run this show for everybody that is out there.
And a lot of people may not know about Free Comic Book Day. So
that's true too.
We'll be talking about it a lot more coming up because we're getting real close to
Saturday, May 6th.
May 6th, so get ready for that.
And this is DC's big book. Marvel will have at least 2 big books, and then there's a slew of 30, 40 other books from other publishers.
Can't wait till we do our annual video where we cover all of those books, and it's that's quite a feat.
Yep. All right. So that is our video for this week. Again, if you want to check those out again, or you want somewhere to order, you can go to infinityflux.net, where you can for free log in and you can set up an account. You can click on anything you want. You can subscribe to the whole series, or you can just pre-order individual covers. And that's at infinityflux.net. And anything that you order through us that way, any pre-orders are actually 10% off. So that is our show. I keep trying to end it. I keep clicking the wrong thing. So thank you very much. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe. We just hit our 2100th
Yay!
subscriber. I feel so proud for a little niche show.
A little
like
show
ours.
that could.
Yes. So we'll be back on Monday with our regular comic review show, where we review all the comics that are coming out Tuesday and Wednesday early. We tell you what's in them. We tell you which ones you might want to get. So we will see you then.